3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Welcome in to this show with no title, work in progress, but I had to do it. I had to get on here. I wanted to talk some football. I wanted to talk some Reignmakers, and who better to do it? I invited Hunter. He's the host of Sideline Talk, formerly Tweet Talk. Thanks, Elon, for that. You know, where he talks to managers across all the Web3 metaverse and often commonly found in the sober MLB streets, hosting Off Base with Nick. Hunter, how you doing?
Doing well. Appreciate that intro. Yeah, glad we got rid of Tweet Talk. That name was not very good. Elon saved me from the embarrassment. And shout out to you guys real quick. You guys were the first and second ever guests on the show. You guys helped me get it off the ground. So yeah, I owe you guys one.
Not gonna lie, Hunter, you sparked that that thrive and that notion. I needed to get back on the content game. So thank you for asking me. And of course, we have Bob Orangefly here as well, who, if you listen to the show, you listen to So Rare in the States, you will know that he was on the basketball show last week. So Bob, how are we doing today, bud?
We're super, man. Thanks for asking. All things considered, I couldn't be better, I must say. No, dude, things are great. Just deep into football. I'm very successful at not winning anything in basketball, so that's awesome. And so waiting for a big game tonight, Reignmakers, man. My Buffalo Bills. We're going to go straight at it. So
See, I think maybe that's it. Like, Silver's been a little quiet. The rewards haven't been coming in. You know what? We've been doing okay in the Reignmakers. And I had some questions, and instead of just sending some tweets and sending some messages back and forth, I said, you know what? Let's record this. Let's invite the people to come in, join the conversation. So realistically, the reason this all came up, right? I need some advice, and one of you will take it. But Raheem Mostert has been having a great year for the Miami Dolphins, doing this whole thing. He's a little bit older, right? And if you took the whole Reignmakers thing with the old season, new season cars, you kind of treat it like dynasty a little bit. So Hunter, should I be selling Raheem Mostert right now and switching into someone a little younger or not? Or do you think he's going to continue doing this? Because running backs, their life expectancy is a little short.
Yeah, good question. Right before we got on, I actually saw that Salvin Ahmed, I'm so bad at that name. The other running back on the Dolphins, I think he is coming back. So he was really good for what, 2 weeks? I know that 1 week he was like the top overall RB. So him cutting back could cut into Raheem Mostert. Another great last name.
The French running back Raheem Mostert. Yeah, no, that's A-Chain that's coming back, Hunter. A-Chain.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
Oh, Devon A-Chain or something like that, right?
Yeah. We're off to a hot start here, but yeah, I did see he was coming back. Also, I did see Raheem Mostert. He is a superstar on Reignmakers.
That's another thing.
So
that's
my thing there.
Is he worthy of superstar status? Do you guys think? No.
So that's what I want to say, Jorge. Like, if you look back at the price, like if you go on Rain Metrics from So Rare Data Guys, if you can go back and look at the prices, I'm curious what happened to them before and after he got his superstar status. Because we all know that he is not the guy that you're going to get to be a superstar. You know, They took superstar status from Austin Eckler and they gave him to Raheem Mostert. Now, I understand that he was having big games and Miami was scoring a ton of points. But man, I don't want him as my superstar. I'm not going to play him as my superstar. If I'm playing a superstar running back, it's Christian McCaffrey, right? It's not Mostert.
Sure.
So the question is, did his price really drop once he got the superstar status? Because I would assume it did, because you can't just plug him in anymore. You know, and does it give you enough money to come back and buy a guy or take out the money that you want? Like, can you buy an Austin Eckler with that? I doubt you can, because his price, once he lost superstar status, shot through the roof, man. Like, shot through the roof, because he is the best running back out there that didn't have superstar status. So the question is, are there guys you want? And are there other superstars that you would play? Does playing Mostert prevent you from playing Jamar Chase, et cetera, you know?
Personally, I hate superstars, and you're right that the whole superstar switch like completely threw it off for me, because And I know, Hunter, you've been talking to other Rainmakers, like managers and stuff like that. How do they feel with superstars itself? Because they ruin my lineup construction every time. It's either one running back, a quarterback. I have Jalen Hurts. Like I want to play. Like, where are you on the superstar thing? Is Bob onto something here with the prices?
I mean, I was kind of surprised, like looking at these superstars. Yeah, the most one did surprise me. Even Adam Thielen surprised me. I know he's been good, but I mean, we're talking Adam Thielen here, older guy on the Panthers. But yeah, I think it definitely adds some strategy to the game. Like we were talking about running back. I feel like, Christian McCaffrey, yeah, like he looks like far and ahead the best superstar running back, but like I feel like Alvin Kamara and Austin Eckler are like two awesome plays just because they're not superstars, and you can play them like Bob did in his lineup this week that we'll probably get to. He had Eckler, and then he's able to still play a superstar in Amon-Ra St. Brown. So it definitely adds some extra strategy there, but it is kind of annoying that what do they update it every like 6 weeks or something? I know last year
every half season. I think
yeah. I think last year they did it like halfway through the season, then right before the playoffs. But it is annoying when you get a guy that gets injured who was a superstar like early on, and then all of a sudden it just eliminates someone. Obviously on the short slates, if you have like two superstars, on a showdown slate, that'll cause some chaos. So I don't know, there's definitely like more strategy to it than just jamming in all the stars. But I don't know. I think it also has its faults.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Jorge, I like it.
Yeah, you think I should sell?
Well, no, I mean, like I like the superstar.
Do you?
I think you should.
Why?
I think you should sell Mostert. Well, because it forces you to do something different.
Yeah,
it doesn't allow me to play Josh Allen and Tyreek Hill and Christian McCaffrey. It doesn't allow me just to pay to win, right?
Okay, all right.
So because I have all of those guys, Jorge. Like honestly, I wish I could have done that. Like I have all them all set up. And like my actual biggest concern is when they go back to superstars. If they change the superstars again, if I have Amon-Ra St. Brown as a superstar, and then they make Eckler a superstar again, I'm screwed.
Right. But
because now I just lost money, right? And so, like, is it better if I know when they're going to do it again and Eckler's clearly going to get it? So I sell Eckler because he's listed at like 800 right now on the elite side.
Oof.
But that's like, these are the things you're trying to figure out. And it's a matter of, do I want to win and what can I win? Eckler was great last week. I mean, he won me something in the deep roster tournament on the elite side, and that's where I'm always playing. I want to get $100 for finishing in the prizes if I can. That feels like pretty good return because honestly, there's not a lot of great teams that are out there. People are not spending a ton of money on Amon-Ra St. Brown or Chris Olave and those guys, and if you're smart about it, you can actually use stud receivers like Keenan Allen and Stephon Diggs as your rares and just dump them in there because they don't have superstars. So it's not like in So Rare where you get, a 25% bonus for super rare, and then you get a 15% bonus for rare, and then a 5% bonus for limited. That's not how it goes. Everyone gets their plus and just goes, So what is the point of me spending all that money on Eckler for an elite if I don't need it? I can just play a rare. And
yeah, that's true.
That's what I've wondered as we go through here. And that's what I'm always figuring out. And it's also one of the reasons that I played the long, deep roster ones instead. It's just, I like being focused on it the entire night. And I mean, Hunter alluded to it. I've got a full Bills stack going tonight, and I'm just outside of the money. That feels really good. Now, if that Bills stack gets shut down by the Denver Broncos, there are larger issues for my Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, something really went wrong if you're not in the money by the end of the night.
Right? Hey, exactly.
Hey, you never know.
But that's why I like it. It forces you to do something different with roster construction. Now, I don't like the idea of changing superstars midway through the year. I think making Thielen and Mostert superstars was stupid. Like, stupid.
So who did they get rid of? Was Eckler a superstar and then he got demoted?
Yes.
And who was the other receiver?
CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb's one of the ones that got knocked out too, because I had him as a superstar and he got freed up, which is nice because I have Dak Prescott. But yeah, I lost others. Which
CeeDee Lamb. I mean, Nick Chubb lost it obviously because he got hurt. Injuries tend to knock these guys out from where they are. So, and some of these guys just weren't performing. I think Devontae Adams probably doesn't have it anymore because he catches like 3 balls
Yeah,
now.
he lost it
because
too. Yep.
his quarterbacks are functionally terrible at everything they do other than wearing eyeliner. That's Derek Carr. Sorry. Not Jimmy Garoppolo. I hate Jimmy Garoppolo and Derek Carr. Just like, listen, Jimmy Garoppolo is a beautiful man. Like, he can be a male model, and Derek Carr wears all that eyeliner, and he should do a cosmetics line, but neither of them can throw the football well. So, hey, that's just me being bitter.
It is what it is.
And one more point that I'm scrolling through right now: DJ Moore is a superstar. Who decided this?
DJ Jazzy Moore, he went nuts on like a Thursday night game, and
Where?
he scored like 40 points. And
I do
Where?
remember that. But it was that one performance that got in the boost.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Absolutely.
Like, and it's funny you say that because, okay, DJ Moore, whatever, like receivers, but like the running back situation this year has been really weird. So I can kind of see where Mostert kind of sneaks into that higher echelon of running backs, but still, let's be real. For an old age Mostert, it's a little questionable. I'm not a fan.
It's the team, though, Jorge. Like, it's the team, and like they were flying and they were running. And I think here's a bigger question for both of you. You both play Sorare. What is more annoying, the fact that superstars switch mid-season and can switch multiple times in Reignmakers, or the facts that the tier rewards and Sorare are so terrible and all over the place that we just never know what's going to actually happen?
All right, Hunter, you can take that one first.
Yeah, I mean, they're both very annoying. I've heard many more complaints about the prize structure in Sorare, especially people at the top. I would think that is at the top of people's concerns. Yeah, but they're both bad.
Yeah.
They're both issues in their own, and I think maybe if Reignmakers are a little bit more and maybe they are, maybe I'm just like not that deep into it that I don't know why. Like, they need to come out and be like, this is why superstars are switching. This is why things are moving up or down, or when they're going to do it. And then it'd be like, okay, you're expecting it. You have kind of an idea. Like, if they set parameters, like this is what qualifies, and like 3-4 weeks into the season, you could be like, all right, this guy's kind of starting to peak, do this, and then go there. The reward thing, we won't even get into that because we're not even gonna. Because trust me, there are some, and it's happening in NBA right now too. Like, there's a lot of very questionable like tier 1s and 2s that, because in NBA, someone sits, their price spikes. All of a sudden, like a deep bench guy is the play of the week. His price spikes, and all of a sudden you're winning him as a tier 2. When next week he's gonna go back to the end of the bench and he's completely worthless. So there is some issues there. Whatever, that's neither here or there. But before we walk off this, I do want to ask, and Bob, I'll take this to you first. Should Sorare do something like the superstar thing, especially in baseball? Because I know a lot of baseball, once you get the high heavy hitters, you just kind of plug them in and you go from there, and it's not as fun. Should Sorare think about doing something like that?
I don't like it. I mean, it's so.
You don't like it.
The reason I don't like it is because the whole motto of Sorare is own your game, right? It is increase the amount of utility you can have, not decrease the amount of utility we can have, right? So if you tell me that, it's great that you bought Aaron Judge and Yordan Alvarez and Kyle Tucker, you can only use one of them this week. Like, okay, so what does that mean? That means that we are inflating the prices of the lower tier guys that are still the best, that are just outside of that superstar range, which is what happens. We see it happen on Reignmakers. So there's artificial inflation that goes through there, but also you are stopping all of us from building those teams. Like, you couldn't put together a Brave stack. You can't use Acuna and Olsen and Riley because they're all superstars. You know what I mean?
Right.
And there are limits that go on there that I don't like for baseball, because baseball is a cumulative game. Baseball also is a game where just because you played a superstar doesn't mean you're going to win, right? Like in Reignmakers, you play Christian McCaffrey, up until this week, you were guaranteed a touchdown, right?
Rest in peace, that record.
Yeah, right. But you know what I mean, though? Like, there are differences in football. There are differences in basketball. Whereas baseball, and I said this to Hunter on formerly known as Tweet Talk, baseball is a random number generator. You can have any given week where Acuna goes 2 for 30 from the plate and does nothing for you, right? And tanks your team. But you typically don't have that, especially in the NBA. If Giannis plays, he's going to dunk 42 times in any given game or in any given game week. Jokic is going to minimally get you 15 points and 8 boards and 8 assists. Like, these are the things that happen, right? Like, and it's just because they are so much better and the games are fundamentally different. And I don't think you should really limit the guys that you can use. Like, I think that takes the fun away from it. You know, the cap mode in basketball forces a lot of weird scenarios and weird setups that you have to do. And baseball itself is a different game. It's cumulative, which in and of itself I like, because I mean, Hunter and I can speak to this. Like, you can get to the last pitch of a game, and like that last pitch can determine whether or not you win a reward. And that is intense and it's fun, man. Like, it's fun when you win. It sucks when you lose. So, you know, it's like having a guy, Jorge, you know, on Monday that, you know, you need like a 60 from, and you can get onto a podium or a reward. And they're like, hey, you know, I'm home against the worst team in the league. And then they do crap and they get like a 38. And you're like, come on, dude, seriously? Like
Porzingis letting me down this weekend? Yeah, totally. Totally know about that.
Well, I mean, Chet Holmgren did the same thing this week. Like, I put Chet into my in-season tournament team. He's like, hey, I'll score a 20 on the one game, and then the next day I'll come back with a 55. But hey, like, what are you going to do? You know? So, yeah, man, that's
Hunter. Hunter, are you agreeing with Bob's takes here? Or you think it would make things interesting?
I think maybe like certain contests, like an underdog format, I've heard some people say on the show, could be nice because, you know, baseball is like the last sport where it's like you can't just jam in all these studs. Like, you can play like, you can jam in these studs because you don't have the MVP or the cap. And like Bob said, there is a lot of variance in baseball. Like, Ronald Acuna can go 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts, and then some random guy can hit 3 home runs, some super cheap guys. So there's some strategy there, getting contrarian and getting off those guys. But yeah, it is kind of annoying, you know, when you got certain guys who can just jam in all the studs. You know, YNWA, you know, I was looking at his stuff earlier when he came on the pod, and he has like all the unique cards of like the top players in the league. He can just jam them in, you know, every week. He doesn't really have to think about stacking. You know, he just plays these high projected guys and wins a lot. But yeah, I just think maybe in certain contests, but I also like the variance in baseball, and anything can happen. So,
okay. And Hunter, like, the fact that you just said it, YNWA and a few other people have all of the T1 like best uniques in baseball. So what that means for somebody like me who's a mini whale that has a number of uniques, I don't feel it's worth me spending an extra 20 grand to get other mid-tier uniques to play against their T1s. Like, why would I do that? I don't see the ROI potential that is there. So I sell those uniques. You know, I go into super rare where at least I have some of the better players and I can play at that range, you know? So, you know, that's part of any of these kind of economies. And the difference though, is that in basketball, you still need studs if you're going to play unique champion, but there's only one of them, right? Whereas in football, you can get pretty much anybody. And on any given game week, they can score 100 for you. I mean, I only play second division Europe. Like, who does that? I do. You know, it's like no one knows who these guys are. Like, I send Jorge like my team sometimes. He's like, who the hell are these guys? Like, I don't even know who these guys are. Like, and it's pretty common. That's what's cool about soccer though. Like, I'm putting bids on uniques of guys you will never have heard of before. And I don't know what the hell is going on either. And it's kind of cool because they do work based on where they're playing and who they are. So you don't always need Kimmich, basically, is the long and short of it, where you play. So, especially if you play cap modes. Cap modes are the best game in all of Sorare, which is why, Jorge, I like the in-season tournament for basketball, man.
Oh, so good. I love all the new tournaments that are just cash tournaments, no cards, just long form. You just take it for a couple of weeks and you're basically playing against yourself to see if you could cash in the money. And I actually did want to bring that up because you're talking about lining up studs and stuff like this. And Reignmakers is a perfect example where in Reignmakers, and I know I've said it to you before, Bob, but Reignmakers, you only want the top guys. Like, you don't want the third, you know, the third wide receivers. You don't want the fourth wide receivers. You don't want like anything else. You just want the top guys, receiver number 1 with the quarterback. You want the starting running back and stuff like that. And that's nice and all, but then you got multi-entry. So in Reignmakers, do you go out and get 5 Patrick Mahomes and 5 CMCs? or do you like build out your roster? Because I feel like in So Rare, you almost benefit from like spreading out a little bit, like building out your roster and having, different options for different matchups. But I feel like in Rainmakers, you really just want that like the top tier one guys. Am I like playing it wrong, Hunter? Should I be like spreading it out, or is there merit to NFL? You just want the top guys and that's it, nothing else.
Yeah, especially in Reignmakers, like you don't have to play these cheap guys at all. Like we looked at Bob's lineup, he has like all wide receiver ones. Like in DFS, you have to get like, these cheap. You have to go for these cheap guys, these 3K guys, and hope that they, can catch a touchdown. But you don't have to do that in Reignmakers. So I do like that. And you mentioned multi entry. That's what I like more about So Rare is that it is just single entry. I feel like that's
it's coming. It's coming to football.
Okay.
Three entries.
Okay. Man. All right. We'll see if that comes to baseball. But interesting. Yeah. But that was always something in DFS, like when they started, doing all these entries that you can enter, and then people would come in and just have so many different teams. Whereas I kind of like just having one team. I feel like that makes it more fair. And yeah, Reignmakers has the multi-entry thing. So that's one thing I like about So Rare. More Bob has left us. Yeah.
No, I was gonna go on that and be like, do you think multi-entry will work in So Rare? Because it's just coming. They're trying it out in the new Premier League winter competition that they're doing this week, and like I know you're on more on the DFS side, so you experience that a little bit more than others. Like, are we just in for a world of hurt right now? Is it doom and gloom for So Rare with multi-entry? Because I'm not the biggest fan, but I am in Reignmakers, I guess.
I mean, you said it was just 3 entries, right? So 3.
Yeah, so it's max 3.
Yeah, that's not that bad. I like single entry the best, but 3 is not that bad. It's when you get into 150s, that's that's when it becomes, you get these guys scripting teams, and then occasionally you'll get a couple of brothers or teammates who collude, and then it's 300 entries for basically one person. Yeah, that's been an issue in the past, but I will say before the 150, maybe circa 2014 or something, it was like a 500 limit or something. It was some outrageous number. Like they had to go down to 150. Like 150 was the number. But right before that, you could see guys just like totally come in and like sweep everything. Like this guy, Max Dowlery was his name. He used to come in and just win everything and just enter like so many lineups. And I don't think that DraftKings was prepared for that. So when it comes to those kind of numbers, right. I think, that causes some problems, but just some single entry and some 3 max, I think that's totally fine.
What's the strat in multi-entry? Is it just like getting like the best scenarios that you can come up with, different combinations, or is there like a set strategy, or is it like just throw everything at the wall and hope that one of them sticks?
I mean, you definitely, you can't just play everyone. I mean, because right. you need to kind of do percentages. So if you're playing NFL, like maybe you pick like 4 quarterbacks that you want to roster on a slate. So you do like 25% of each. Usually you'll use like a script or something that you can download and just make it so you don't have to physically enter all those lineups. But yeah, it's just about percentages. Trying to not just overexpose yourself, and yeah, it can be dangerous though. You can easily can easily lose all that money quick. That's $3,000 if you max out the Millie Maker. That's a lot of money.
I mean, I guess it's worth it, right? Like in something like Reignmakers, I guess they pay out enough to realistically, like, so say that you say it's like $3,000 for one slate, right? How much, like, what's the expected ROI on that? Like, is it like break even or?
I mean, for that, it would like the Millie Maker like isn't known for being like people only play it if they're like at the top tier, like they can afford that variance. Like that is not like a plus EV contest. Like you have to get first place. Like you can, like I feel like in the Millie Maker, I'm trying to think, like it's so top heavy that if you get like 8th place, you win like $5,000 or something. So like we're talking like you need to get up there. And there are so many entries in Millie Maker, like hundreds of thousands, if I'm not mistaken, in there. So that is definitely not a contest that you should, if you're a new player, you should be prioritizing. It should be some more flatter structures, but it is fun because who doesn't want to win $1 million on a Sunday,
right? Hey, just a random millie for watching some baseball or watching some football with your bros, putting back some brews,
Yeah, can't get better.
Dude, it's so funny that like the Reignmakers world is completely different than like just like price structure, everything like that. Welcome back, Bob. Just the price structure and everything is completely different in Sorare, where it's like, and it's, now that you're saying that, because I'm mostly focused on the 2022 cards right now, which smaller contests, smaller cash prizes, stuff like that. Me and Bob went back and forth at the beginning, like not really knowing which to target, whether you wanted to go cash or cards. I have found that, especially if you're playing the older card sets, you definitely just want to play for packs and cards, because there was 1 week, all five of my lineups like hit in the money. 2 of them, if I would have played them in a contest for cards, would have been top 10 finishes with 2 elite card rewards. But instead, all 5 of my lineups that hit returned me $25. So I was like, dang it. Like, I feel like I should be playing for cards, right? Like, it just, at least in that end, like all the newer contests, like, yeah, you go for the big money. That's where the money's at. But older season cards, it's a little rough.
So yeah, you're right, Jorge. And actually, AJ, When Moon put a tweet out based on Sorare that said, use old season cards to win new season cards. Use new season cards to win money. Right? And it's the same way with Reignmakers here. Use your old season cards to win the new season cards, then use the new season cards to win your money. Right? And as I mentioned before, the long deep roster format, which goes Thursday night to Monday, to me, that is more akin to like how Sorare works over multiple games, multiple days to win money. Like, and that's why I do it. It's a lot closer to a game that I'm familiar with also. But yes, the older cards, you don't want to win money in the older cards. There's just not enough there to make it worth it, because of those 5 wins, you got $25. What is $25 buying you? It's not buying you an elite card, and if it is, it's
maybe a rare.
An elite John Mechie who costs like $12 and doesn't actually play, So yeah. But that's why, like, that's what for those coming in from 2 Reignmakers from Sorare, those deep contests are more akin to the long-term over the number of days that we play that we're more used to. You have to build up points and you play against everybody else. And in this instance, you win money though. So
yeah, I got to say, there's got to be the biggest edge in deep roster. I feel like people would rather just play out the Sunday slate, the quick payout, but deep roster, and you got to wait from Thursday to Monday. People don't, they don't want to enter lineups on Thursday and have to wait, or if they don't have any players on Thursday, what's the point of entering it if you're just going to sit it out? So I've seen, that there's probably the biggest edge in deep rosters. Is that kind of the vibe you're getting to, Bob?
Yeah. I mean, that's where I won a competition in deep roster.
Yeah.
And if I had entered that competition in the cash version of it, like I won like an elite card or a legendary card or something like that. If I had done it in the money, I still would have come in second. So like,
there you go.
Everything is still together. You still need great teams to win, but there are just not as many people playing the deep roster, because it's more satisfying to get a 4-person team out in the rare competition or the elite competition on a Sunday. Just go, and your game week is done and you have a quick run. You can get that done. And it's harder
Where's the sweat?
It's harder for 9-10 people to hit than for 4 people to hit. And that's legitimately what people do, But as Jorge was saying, here, I've got a whole bunch of T1 guys on my team. I mean, I've got a full bill stack going tonight, which is fantastic, and it's how I kind of built my teams. I built my teams this week around the Los Angeles Chargers and the Detroit Lions game, because there were going to be points scored there. Jahmyr Gibbs, Austin Eckler, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and of course, I stupidly said Keenan Allen, who scored like 45 points. Oops. Yeah, but that's how the game goes, right? And it's a matter of put together the teams that are playing against the worst teams, and you can do pretty well. But it's unique roster construction too, because I don't have a lot of elite cards, Hunter. So I have to pick and choose where I'm going to play and who I'm going to swap in. Because as I said earlier, I don't want to spend the money to get an elite Stephon Diggs or Keenan Allen or AJ Brown, because they're thousands of dollars. Whereas I can just play my rares, which I got for like 1/8 of the price, and put them in the same competition and still get the same points. So it's all about the construction. It's all about if your quarterback hits, it's who gets touchdowns, and you just want your guys to accidentally score, so.
Well, at least you have the luxury of like picking and choosing, because if you're gonna play with old season cards, it is only deep roster, and that's all you get. Well, actually, I lied because as of recently, and I haven't played them yet. So, and let me know what you guys think about this. So, there's like almost DFS slates and Rainmakers now for old season cards. If you go to like line up the, let me see if they're up here. Yeah. Let me share my screen real quick because I just saw these the other day. I haven't entered them yet because I haven't really wanted to try my luck. But so right here, you can basically use your old cards and pay to get into the slate, and then you basically win money from that. So like there's 10 people in this slate. It's $5 plus 9 like core. So you're still playing like the deep roster, but then you have the chance of winning $50. I don't know what the payout is. But yeah, these are new and interesting. And what do you guys think about those? Because I haven't decided if I want to go for them yet.
I dig it. The prizes look a little on the small side. I know it is the last year's cards, but
1 through 5, $10.
Yeah, I mean,
so you get a shot at $10 for $5.
Hey, small field. Yeah, I kind of dig it. I like it.
But Jorge, what is if you play that and you win it and you do well? What does it? Your enjoyment, like, what is that worth to you? Like, do you get that adrenaline rush with a chance to win in that kind of slate? Is that how it works for you in Reignmakers? Does it work the same in So Rare? Like, and this is always something that I ask the question, like, what does it mean to you to be competitive? Like, to be able to go on a Monday in football, football, soccer, in So Rare and have a chance to win a reward? Like, is it exciting? Like, is that worth money to you to do it? Is it worth the chase for you to potentially get into the top 5 and double your money? Even though, like, and I don't want to say like double your money from $5 to $10 is not good. It's great.
Hey,
but
is it worth return? I'll take it.
Well, no, but you know what I mean though? Like, is it worth it for you to do that? Is it exciting enough for you to do that, to put the cards in there and to pay the money to get in there?
We're getting philosophical in here. I like it. Honestly, especially when it comes to Reignmakers, I don't know. It's just like fun. Like it's like fun for me to like. I think it's because I'm so deep in So Rare and just like playing multiple sports. I'm like, wait, you're telling me I could enter more contests and watch more sports? Like, hell yeah, I'm gonna do it. I don't know. I guess I'm not really chasing the cash too much because, or else I probably would have entered them. But it's like $10 plus a whole deep roster. Like, that's not including like me chasing card rewards. So that's another 9 cards that I would have to add just for the chance to double my money. And at those like scarcities, it's not that much anyway. I don't know. They feel kind of silly and like reachy for me, like a little like DraftKings trying to get a little bit more money out of you. But
I mean, it's smart, right? It's smart. I mean, I like what they're doing. It gives us options, and someone will join. Like, you get 10 or 11 people already joining. So, good for that. It's other options. It's other utility. I like more that we can get. But, I mean, like we said, use old cards to win new cards. Use new cards to win money. Like, that's really the most straightforward way you can go with this stuff. And we realize, and I learned with you, Jorge, that playing in the money competitions in the current season is the way to go. The trick is, when do you sell everything out? Or do you sell everything out? Or do I stick around and hold my CJ Stroud unique and play it next year to win cards next year, which will allow me to play in the newer season? Do I continue to turn this over?
That's the hope, right? And that's the whole like dynasty aspect of it. And that's kind of how I'm treating it. I'm trying to like, especially if I'm gonna buy a 2023 card, it's either a rookie or someone that I couldn't get in the old season, and then just kind of build from there. So then next year I have all of last year's cards. I got the breakout players from this year, and then just continuously snowball, I think, or continue to lose money like I do in all Web3. So we're just here for the vibes.
So Jorge, in So Rare, is your goal? What is your goal in So Rare? Is it to win money? Is it to have fun and watch football, soccer, the games that you love? Like, what is the goal? And is that goal different when you play in Reignmakers? Is it win money in Reignmakers and not just enjoy the sport I love?
No, Reignmakers definitely just enjoy it for the sport and like the Web3 games that like we're all now very hooked on. Yep. So Rare is definitely build a gallery, eventually, hopefully make money out of it, and now create content because it's fun and I like talking to people. So like, it's for the look. We're in a bear market. The answer is fun. Ask me in like 6 months, I'm gonna be like, it's all about the money, baby, to the moon. Like, we're all rich. We all took a gamble on Web3 fantasy sport collectibles, and all of a sudden we're rich because the bull market's back, or something like that.
Do you think
It's
that's going to
coming
happen?
back. Yeah.
Do you think that's going to happen? Are we going to get rich? Are we in early enough? Like, I don't think that we're making money anymore in these games. I think that we're having fun. Like, and I think that's my approach has been, and you saw this, Hunter, with baseball. I play at the super rare and unique level because that's where more of the money is. There are fewer competitors, and so it gives me a better opportunity. And that's kind of how I look at it now. And I told you, Jorge, I play Cap 240 super rare.
Right.
I want to win the threshold. And if I happen to win a card in any of the other competitions, it's gravy, you know? And when my guy sucks and he makes me come in fourth instead of second, that pisses me off still. You know, that's life. But like, what is the goal? Like, I don't expect to be making a ton of money because every time I make money in So Rare, I'm just putting it right back into buying cards because of course I am.
Yeah.
You know?
Those are the rules, okay?
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like especially with So Rare, like I'm in it to have fun for sure. I mean, you're not making like a living on So Rare. Like if you asked me like when I was like 19, like, oh, do you want to like play, you know, fantasy professionally? I'd be like, of course. And you know, I want to be on DraftKings. I want to be playing like these high stakes guys and making all this money. And you know, at the time, like I'm not saying it was easy, but there was definitely more of an edge than there is now. And there's still good prizes given out on DraftKings, and there are guys at the top, like Utica, who just won his 8th Millie Maker this past weekend. You know, like those kind of guys, this is actually their job, you know.
Right.
But
more than a job at that point.
Yeah,
8th?
yeah, that guy. I've seen a couple interviews of him. He's on another level. That guy. He enters, I think, on a NFL slate, he'll enter like $500,000 or something. Something crazy like that. So if you can deal with those swings, then yeah. But to the point, So Rare, yeah. So Rare just for fun, like having skin in the game. With the sport like baseball, especially. Like I love baseball, but it is slow, it is boring, and if you have a team, I mean, it makes it so you watch the at bats. You know, you go to a game and you have the team in your gallery. I mean, it can be fun. So Rare's fun. Reignmakers right now probably is fun. I'm sure there's people out there who maybe are grinding a living doing Reignmakers, in addition to DFS. But yeah, it's mostly fun, right? We can agree.
Yeah, exactly. We're here for a good time, not a long time. And if better things come from it, then you know, hooray, right? But
yes.
You and we talked before this, like even though this is kind of a Reignmaker show, you said you weren't really dabbling in Reignmakers for whatever reasons. You know, you're buying too many baseball uniques and all that stuff. What is it? So what is it about DFS that you were like, I'm not going to play Reignmakers, but I'm still going to mess around with football DFS? Like, was there like an incentive for you to just do that, or you just kind of, because I know you have a DFS background, so you just decided to stick there instead of dipping into Reignmakers, or kind of how was that decision there for you?
It's a good question, and I will say I sold 3 crafting tokens this morning that I didn't know I had in my gallery, and I made almost $17. So shout out to me. But yeah, I didn't know I had in my gallery, but I guess I had those. But yeah, I feel like for me, it's like I kind of would need to put in a lot more than I have at the moment to build a team that I think can compete. I played in Rare last year, had some success with it. Made the mistake of reinvesting in too many cards, and you know, this was in week 2. I had a big win, and with the Dolphins actually with that triple stack they went off, and then the value went down, and you know, I played for the rest of the season, but I feel like this year, you know, I'd rather just be able to dabble here and there, you know, with football, and you know, build a team in DFS. Like if you can just, you know, some tournament teams, like you have a chance of winning. Like, you know, everyone has the same what is the word, cap, right? Salary cap.
Yeah.
Whereas in Reignmakers, like, you know, I would need to invest more than I'm willing to build a team. But that's not to say I don't like Reignmakers. I love Reignmakers. I think it's an awesome game. I think there's a huge edge in it. You know, but I am someone who played more last year than I did this year. But yeah, I like the game.
What'd you do with all your old cards then? Are they still sitting there, or?
I liquidated at the end of the season.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got the money back. Yeah, I made sure to sell them all. They're not sitting there. If they were sitting there, they would have been sold by now. So.
Did you Did you take a loss on those cards, or did you end up making money? Just curious.
I probably no. I think I took a loss. Yes, because I mean, I tend to buy the cards like right before the season when there's all this hype.
Right.
Like even in Sorare MLB, like I loaded up before the season, and then everything, comes down over the course of the season, just how the market works. So that's always been my mistake. Instead of loading up in the off season or at the end of the season when you should be, I'm kind of I'm that guy who's like, okay, the season's coming around, I'm excited, and I go out and buy them, and then it's all about fun, right? EV goes out the door when you're just trying to have fun.
It's a very expensive bar tab. It's all it is. It's just, it's beer money or something. Just a whole lot of it. All right, I got a very important question, and I'll throw this to Bob here first. Should Sorare sell card packs? Because ripping things is a lot of fun. If you look, and I was gonna pull it up before the show and I didn't, but like if you look at all the metrics and stuff like that, Reignmakers, even though I feel it's a smaller like community of players, they be selling, and they are selling, and they are bringing in revenue left and right. Is it something that Sorare should really think about? Because clearly they've come out in their most recent posts and have openly admitted, hey, we need some new revenue streams. So do you think packs would work in Sorare, Bob?
I mean, they work. Like, are they really fun? Like, is it really fun, or is it just like massively disappointing? Like, serious question. Like, because it's, to me, selling packs and ripping packs, like you do it for the off chance that you're going to win the lottery, right? You do it because maybe if I rip this
disappointing.
Yeah. Well, no, but seriously, like you rip it, you rip the pack, and you're hoping that you hit gold. You're hoping that you hit the legendary version of Patrick Mahomes and you can sell him for $3, right? Like that's the hope. That's like why you rip these things. But like, what do you actually do? You get a core Bailey Zappi and a core, who's the next scrub up?
Here,
Mike,
I'll help you.
Mike Mayer. Like,
I pulled the legendary this year. Yeah, congrats to me. It was a Randall Cobb. Can't even sell that thing if I wanted to. I tried.
Is he still alive? Like,
at the very end of the Jets bench.
Real question. But like, no, but seriously, like, it's great. Like when I ripped my first few packs, I got an elite Josh Oliver, backup tight end for the Minnesota Vikings. I was like, okay, this is cool. I'm like, this card sucks. Like, I'm gonna sell it for $20 and move on with my life, But I don't find ripping packs to be interesting. It is for gamblers, it's great. And like that's who Reignmakers and Top Shot preys on. It's the gambling community that wants to see if they win stuff. But it creates, oversupply, as we saw in Top Shot. It creates oversupply as we see in Reignmakers. Like the market is soft in Reignmakers, man. It is not held up. It is crumbling in on itself. I remember week one, you could buy, like you had to pay $100 to get a Stephon Diggs rare. It's like $12 now or whatever it is. It's not expensive. Like that was the price to play. And so we understand that functionally, we understand that. But I mean, I couldn't buy an Amon-Ra St. Brown Elite like under $1,000 back then, right. And he's like $250 now. So ripping packs. I mean, yeah, it's a revenue stream. Like that's fantastic, but I don't like it. It feels cheap. It feels kiddish. I think that if we're looking for people to come in and rip packs as our main source, like I don't like it. Those are not the people that are playing the game. The idea is playing the game and managing the game. And honestly, very few people that come into Sorare actually do well. Like you never talk to those people that are constantly losing, or you see them on X, formerly known as Twitter. Thank you, Elon. Screwing up Hunter's show name and having a new brand. Like you just see people complaining all the time because they're overexposed. Like, why is my limited card down so much? Why is this Luke De Jong that I bought for $500 now only worth $100? Like, well, because he's not very good actually. And like he has to score, and he gets no AA, and you don't understand the game. But like that was the price to get him when you got him, and that is ripping packs creates oversupply. Like that's just what it does.
Yeah. Ripping packs is such a DraftKings thing. I just want to say, like it is like sort of gambling thing. Like most of the packs are gonna suck, and like DraftKings, like they don't even allow trades because they can't like rake the individual trade. Like they take 10% rake and 5% goes to them. The other 5% goes to the NFLPA. And you can't do the trades like you can in Sorare, which I think is the coolest part of Sorare. You know,
that's weird.
Reignmakers, because they don't they can't like take a percentage of each individual trade. That's what Jason Rowson was explaining to me on our episode. So yeah, DraftKings, very different product than Sorare, and DraftKings always had the gambling, side of it. But if you're into that, then go for it.
And for DraftKings, it's fine. Like I bought packs early, Jorge. I ripped a couple of them. I got garbage, and by garbage, I actually got a good one. I got a rare Stephon Diggs. So like all of it's worth it now, right? Because I got a rare Stephon Diggs, and that's what you're hoping for. But like that's not good. But like that's what makes you buy more packs. And then when you get Randall Cobb and you get John Mechie, and then when you get Jake Ferguson, you're like, well, my life sucks. I just spent $100 on a crap pack, But that's the gamble, right? But it's good for Reignmakers, but it also softens the market, like we said. It makes it so that card prices drop when you have more and more supply. And I'm not a big fan, but a lot of people like it. But like in the soccer side, like your FIFA Ultimate people, they love it. Just rip packs, see what we can get, and it is exciting. But like it's exciting for that split second that you rip it until you are extremely disappointed afterwards. And like it's that disappointment and expectation that makes us spend more money and spend. Like that's just what it is. And that's why we used to stand in line for hours to get a pack in, Top Shot and just hope you got somebody good.
I'm so glad that I didn't hear about Top Shot at the beginning, because I totally would have been one of those people in line just waiting to rip. I love ripping packs. I hate them. I literally hate them. I've never played anything good. But
ripping packs was fun in the instant when you did it and was cool until you got the garbage that you get. And then that's not exciting because that's the reality of life, dude. Like you don't rip it and just like win magically. Like not everyone can do this stuff. One person is going to do a good job of it. And then like, what are they going to do with it? If Bob rips a good card, I'm going to use that card. Like I don't get too excited. What excites me is winning the competitions. And I understand that I am very different than your standard user when it comes to Reignmakers.
We all don't win like you, Bob. We all don't win like you.
Jorge, it's like, why do I win? Like, look at my team. And like, Hunter, you said it. Like, my teams are strong. Like, it's not like I went cheap on my teams. I have a CJ Stroud elite and a Chris Olave elite and an Austin Eckler and a Amon-Ra St. Brown. So it's not like I went cheap on these guys. I recognized what I needed to do and what the initial cap hit or money hit would be to get there. And I put that money up and I said, let's trust myself to win this money back, and I believe that's a good way to play. That's how I want to play. And with these long weeks that we have long, deep competitions, like there's a chance tonight that I can win anywhere from $0 to $500 based on how well my bills do tonight. Right. And that's kind of freaking cool, man. Like it's fun. That's a dream right there. I would rather do that than rip a pack. I would rather you rip your packs and you want to get the money for it. And then me undercut you. You're like, yeah, I'll take that. And then you sell that to me. And then I use that because I have a plan to compete. And again, I am fundamentally different than most people that play Web3 gaming though. Like I understand what I need to do to win and how I'm going to do it. And same thing happens in Sorare too. I mean, Hunter, we talked about it in baseball a lot. Like I recognized and identified the guys that I feel that I need to compete. And I went out and I did whatever I could to buy them, and it's, and that was Brave Stacks. That was Acuna's. And now that I've sold those, it's like, well, what do I do next year? Who knows? We figure it out.
Again.
Yeah, well, and that's part of the thing. I have a tendency, Jorge, in Sorare to sell cards from the previous season and then buy back into other things and get a better team and then revamp because I like mixing things up as far as it goes. And so with Reignmakers, it's the same thing. It's a matter of when do I sell these cards or do I even sell these cards? Like how much can I pull in? Like there are still 8 weeks left of Reignmakers competitions that we can make money, right? Like if I'm lucky enough and I win $100, you know, a couple times, like that gets me all of my money back that I spent, you know, and that's kind of what we're looking for here until, you know, Mr. IRS takes it all back. It's like, nope, screw you, Bob. So
what he doesn't know won't hurt him, you know.
yeah.
they don't know how to use the blockchain yet, so we're still good.
But yeah, I mean, packs are fun in the small instance. At the beginning of the season, I enjoyed ripping a couple of them, but a lot of people bought them, Jorge, because they can't actually compete in states like Pennsylvania where it's illegal to do DFS in that way. They buy the packs, they sell the packs, and they make money on the packs. And that's a very viable way to make money in DraftKings. Like that's how you make money. And we talk about this in Sorare too. Like I've talked to both of you on different podcasts. Like trading makes you money in Sorare and it's fun. And I'm not great at it. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. You're going to give me this money? Sure. I'll click accept. I should probably hold off on more. Like right now, Hunter, people are offering me, like people want to buy Ozzy Albies and Garrett Cole super rares. And you and I both know that they are 2 tier 1 studs, right? But I'm not selling those for 0.2 ETH, which is what last sales were because they got knocked out of the playoffs. Like, is that smart? No, probably not. You know?
Yeah.
You know, maybe it is, but like I'm not going to sell Classe and those guys all together for well below. Now, if you come in with one of my studs and you offer me like 0.7 for Yordan Alvarez, I'd consider it. You know?
Yeah.
And that's kind of
the baseball market's moving.
I was about to ask, are people making these trades in November like this?
I mean, dude, I just sold a Corbin Carroll for over 0.6
today?
A couple days ago.
Wow.
Oh. Sold the Corbin Carroll for over 0.6. I sold somebody else. There are a few people that are still buying in. You know, I sold, you know, my Yuri Perez that I loved, Hunter, that I actually talked to you about. I sold him. I sold a few other guys for a total of like 0.2 and like a combination. And like just adding money to the pot.
NFTs are bad.
Adding money to the pot so that I can join in unique cap 240, Jorge. That's my next one. Yeah.
Ooh. What is it? What is that? Like 500 a week?
I don't even know what it is. It's money. But I mean, that's what I actually traded my Acuna super rare and some ETH for a unique in football that fits in there, a guy that I like in second division. So I'm okay with that because I know that I can use that. I've already made more money in cap 240 thresholds than I made the entire year playing baseball. And I did that in like 3 weeks. Okay.
Selling up, going back to football. I know that's where the money's at.
But this is why games against the system are great. You know, games where hitting a cap, games where in-season tournaments. Like, I mean, Reignmakers, you win money. Like if you're playing it for the money, like you can win money. That's why it's exciting tonight. I can go in there, I can win no dollars tonight, or I can win, you know, $500. And whatever happens. It's really exciting. It's going to be kind of cool. I know what I'm cheering for. I'm sure I will freakishly just keep clicking refresh on every single thing, and every catch that is made will pop up on my app like, "Ooh, Dalton Kincaid made another catch." Because streaming is stupid for live sports. I'm sorry, guys. I have to go on a rant here. If you have an app that updates things that are going on, so I use the score for baseball and football, Hunter, the app. And I type in Dalton Kincaid. I want to know every time he catches a ball and how many yards he gets. So when I'm streaming on Amazon Prime, they're like 3 plays behind in streaming service because that's what happens. So I already know that Dalton Kincaid caught a 20-yard touchdown pass 3 minutes ago. Like, that's no fun. Come on, guys. Live sports should be on regular broadcast TV. I don't want to watch it delayed. I want to watch it live. I don't want my phone to tell me what's happening. Okay.
That is the okay. I'm not gonna lie though. That is actually the worst. Like, there's like, if it's a really big game, I turn off all my notifications because nothing pisses me off than getting the alert for a goal before I see the damn goal.
Right? Foot
God,
mob.
it's the worst.
Yeah, Jorge, foot mob. Like, I know when Orlando's scoring because foot mob is showing me like 15 minutes before Apple Plus TV actually gets to the goal. So yeah, that's my thought on streaming live sports. No, just hard pass.
I love
Hard
it.
pass. It's the important things, guys. This is what
All right.
matters.
Listen, it does. And look, we're coming up on an hour. I appreciate you guys coming to hang out with me. I got 2 questions, 2 quick hits. I'm gonna throw each one and one before we get out of here. All right. I'll start with you, Hunter. Is CJ Stroud gonna win the MVP this year?
Oof. Oh, I'm glad we're talking some CJ Stroud right now. Yeah, I did see that he has the 3rd highest floor price of any quarterback in the core. Kind of crazy. MVP. I don't know. I don't know about MVP. I think I want to see it. I like him. I do. I think he's great to watch. But
I was listening to some shows today, and they were all throwing around CJ Stroud for MVP. I was like, okay, come on, we're not doing this right now.
Yeah.
So I had to throw it out here.
Let's not go overboard. Not MVP. Rookie of the year, perhaps. But yeah, we'll say no to that one.
No.
So,
how about you, Bob?
So who's going to win MVP if CJ Stroud doesn't? Josh Allen is throwing more passes to the other team. Patrick Mahomes' team is not winning nearly as much.
He has no receivers.
And honestly, Patrick Mahomes is not even the focus of that team anymore. Taylor Swift is. So who else? Who's been great in the NFL? Jalen Hurts. I mean, listen, if you run rugby plays for me and you actually get your big 300-pound linebacker or offensive lineman to actually cut people low and I can go over the top and just roll over to the end zone, I'm going to score 42 touchdowns as well. It blows my mind that other teams just don't understand what they're doing. Like watching Justin Herbert try to quarterback sneak yesterday over the top of the biggest guys. Like that's not what the Eagles do. Like that's not what they do. They find mismatches and they cut block low, and then everybody collapses down. You just roll over the top. But anyway, who else would win it? True question. Who else would win it? I mean, Brock Purdy was playing great until they went on a 3-game losing streak. Now, if the Texans win 11 games and make the playoffs, like he's a legit option. He's got some of the best stats in football right now. He's turning a crappy franchise into a really good team that people want to watch. And I mean, the 2 fourth-quarter comebacks that he's made over the last couple of weeks has been wild. And you can't really speak down on him. And I just don't know.
Aren't his turnovers low too?
Yeah, he's only thrown 2 picks.
Yeah, I noticed that too because Sam Howell was leading the league in passing yards, but he has like 1 million. Oh no, he's taking like 1 million sacks. That's what it is.
Yeah, he's leading the league in sacks as well. And he never throws the ball to Scary Terry. And I just don't understand. But
yeah.
So I just don't know who else would win it. I mean, CJ Stroud has been fun to watch. You know, honestly, like we all know that Mahomes will turn it up and he have a huge run. And Joe Burrow, that team continues to win games and play great, you know, through the injuries and all the injuries that he's had. Like those are the guys that are always up there. Like this award doesn't go to running backs, doesn't go to defenders, doesn't go to wide receivers. It's going to a quarterback. It would be fantastic if Stroud keeps this up, but who knows? I can't think of another person, honestly, right now.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, let me throw another person in here real quick.
Yep.
Bob, can it be Kyler Murray?
No.
No, but really though, like where are we on Kyler Murray for the rest of the season? Because he's on his comeback. He didn't play terrible.
They won.
How are we on Kyler Murray for the rest of the season here?
He's facing CJ Stroud next week.
Yeah.
Oh, is that next week?
Yeah. Stroud versus Murray.
Yeah, it's Murray made a couple plays in the game yesterday that I was kind of surprised at. Like he made a couple scrambles, like long scrambles, and there was one on like 3rd and 13, and he ran all over the field. And he was able to scramble and get the drive that actually went down and allowed them to get the field goal or touchdown or whatever to win the game. And I was really impressed with his ability to do it. Now, Kyler Murray is not a quarterback I've ever liked from a fantasy. Like fantasy, he's fun, like when he was running and stuff like that. But his overall approach to the game, like he seems to have some locker room issues from what I've heard, from what we've all heard, but so does everybody else that's a diva, you know. But what is Kyler going to do? Like, and he doesn't have any receivers. Like, who's his number 2 receiver? Jorge, do you even know who that is?
No, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, like
I just know that if I have players playing Arizona, I put him in my main lineup. That's
Yeah.
all I know.
I mean, so his best receivers, he's got Hollywood Brown and Michael Wilson. Wilson's a rookie.
Oh, Michael
Like,
Wilson. Yeah.
James Conner is his running back. Zach Ertz is on IR. Like, he has Trey McBride. Like, who are these people? That team's not very good, you know? And Kyler, like, all credit to him. Hats off to him. He pulled that one out. Now, would I love to see him play second base for the Oakland A's? Yep, absolutely. That's the so rare card I would buy. So,
Hunter, where are you on Kyler?
While you guys were talking, I was looking at the market. Kyler Murray doesn't have very many cards, but he has the highest floor price on every tier. Elite, yeah, he's got a 469. Nice floor price on his elite. That leads all players. Yeah, I know. I mean, definitely for fantasy, Kyler is good because he can use his legs. I'm a fan. Actually, I like the matchup this week against CJ Stroud in the Dome in Texas. I think that could be maybe a sneaky shootout. Maybe we stack up that game a little bit. I can get behind that. What do you guys think?
Right.
I would love that game. I mean, Kyler is fun to watch when he's playing well. I don't really want to listen to his after game talks and stuff like that. I just want to watch him play football. And that's great. But I mean, and he is another guy that really bothers me but I love watching him play when he's great is Lamar Jackson. Mm-hmm. And he's one of those guys that is always ranked in the top 3 fantasy every single week. And be like, well, he has the high rushing upside, but he doesn't.
It's like Justin Fields.
He gets in the end zone occasionally. And when he does, he has a great week. But there are weeks like last week or this week, where they just handed the ball off for 4 straight rushing touchdowns and still managed to lose the game because of reasons. So how do you guys look at a guy like Lamar Jackson when it comes to Reignmakers? Like, is he somebody you're willing to put money into in Reignmakers and in regular fantasy football?
I like him. I like guys that can run. He is, I should know this, but is he not a superstar, correct?
No.
Lamar? Okay, yeah.
Jalen
Mahomes. Oh, no, he is.
Is he?
Yeah, he's listed as one.
Josh Allen.
Yeah, Herbert's there too. So if he's a superstar, I don't love it just because there's other options. Give me some other guys over him there. But and really, I mean, Jackson, like ever since 2019, where he was MVP and had all those fantasy points and broke all those records, like hasn't been too exciting, right? Like I'm not too excited about Lamar Jackson.
He doesn't have those 100-yard rushing games anymore, which really drove a lot of his value back in 2019. And I watch a lot of games because my wife is a big fan, but he still throws the ball high to his receivers. And for whatever reason, they have not given him quality receivers at all.
Well,
and
OBJ.
OBJ is like,
isn't Zay Flowers there now?
He's old. What's that?
Isn't Zay Flowers there too?
Yeah. I mean, they're starting.
Disappointment.
Zay Flowers has been okay, but so now the next step, what I want to see from the Ravens is, will they do what the Eagles did last year? So the Eagles drafted Devonta Smith, right? And they wanted another punch to go with him. And so they went out and they got A.J. Brown. They got that wide receiver 1. Now the Eagles have their own wide receiver 1 in Zay Flowers, who would be like a 1A, more or less. But do they go out and do they get a big receiver to actually give Lamar Jackson some passing options when it comes down the field? You get a guy like an A.J. Brown that comes through that you can use in that manner and hook him up with Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews. And you can still bash him in the mouth and run the ball, because then that team changes a bit. It is not just the old smash you in the mouth kind of football team where Gus the Bus Edwards just keeps running into the end zone constantly, which I love watching people get smacked in the face. And it's fantastic to watch these big, strong running backs go through there. But from a fantasy perspective, I want to see Lamar be able to spread the field and extend and watch him throw the ball deep to some of those guys that are open, have that true threat that is going to be there to produce for him. It's that's what I want to see. So does that happen? Do they go after it? Is this what Baltimore does? Are there any big free agents out there that are that type of receiver? Is Mike Evans the kind of guy that's available? Because I mean, Mike Evans is huge, and Lamar Jackson throws the ball 12 feet up in the air every time anyway. So,
that's his bread and butter right there, boy.
Yeah, big on big. So, but I mean, that would be a fun team. I would love to watch a Mike Evans and a Mark Andrews and Zay Flowers team with the Ravens there, and Lamar throwing them the ball.
Oh,
All of a sudden, like you have to respect the wide receivers. You can't just box in 9 guys into the box to stop the run, stop Lamar, and spy Lamar. So there's a lot of changes that can go in there. I mean, this is what the Eagles, not exactly what the Eagles did, but the Eagles gave weapons to Hurts. And Hurts was the most recent version of Lamar Jackson. So I don't know. That's just me rambling about the Baltimore Ravens. I like it.
All right. I got one more for y'all before we go. All right. Just because we kept going to the QB thing, and I was like, oh, yeah, Hunter, give me the lowdown on Joshua Dobbs. And if they have a good season, is Kirk Cousins out of the Vikings system?
Oh God, I mean, Josh Dobbs kind of impressed me last week. I know at the beginning of the season, people were saying he was by far the worst quarterback. Obviously, bad with the Cardinals, but then goes to the Vikings.
He looked
He goes to
good.
a much better system. Another guy was a surprisingly high floor price up there, and at least in core, he's third. People like seem to overreact to the recent performance there, but yeah, Dobbs. I just like the position he's in Minnesota. He's got Jefferson and Addison, and good coach and a good overall team around him. So I like it. If Kirk comes back, well, Kirk's not coming back, right?
No, I think he's out for this season.
No, he's done.
Yeah, he's done.
The
Sadly,
Vikings make a playoff run. Joshua Dobbs' job.
Looking
let's
pretty good.
let's assume that Kirk Cousins doesn't come back to the Vikings. Where does Kirk Cousins go?
Ooh, New England.
So does he go somewhere that has a good offensive core, like in Tampa Bay, and replace Baker Mayfield? So he has Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Cade Otton to throw the ball to. Like, where does he go? Do the Jets say, well, thank you, Aaron Rodgers, let's bring another guy in that has torn Achilles? Like, does he go to a team that he can actually make something happen? Because he is a pocket passer. He's in there. He throws a great ball. You know, he's a considerably better version of Mac Jones, obviously. But what I'm basically saying is there are options. Like if Kirk Cousins is going to be the quarterback, like honestly, if Kirk Cousins was throwing the ball to Devontae Adams, that Raiders team could actually be good.
Ooh, I like that. Oakland sounds good. I was going to say New England, just because I am a Patriots fan. I want to see him there. Mac Jones is awful. You've already, Bob, mentioned Bailey Zappi not being so great. You put down both the quarterbacks on the show, Bob.
Yep.
But they are both bad. I agree with you.
I mean, should we start the Belichick out too? Because Bill Belichick might not be there either.
I mean,
yeah, not looking good for New England, but I'd like to see him there. But I don't know if that'll happen. The Raiders, you mentioned Raiders. I think that that sounds like a good spot.
Yeah, I mean, and does Devontae Adams even stay there? He's clearly pissed about being there. But I mean, Josh McDaniels is gone because he was just not a good head coach. So, but I mean, like, look at the Giants. Like, is Daniel Jones done? Like, there are a lot of options throughout the league where people need quarterbacks. And as it turns out, quarterback is a really hard position to fill. Yeah. Duh, Bears. Hey, Tyler Bajan, like, he's fantastic. I mean, listen, if you told me I was going to be watching Thursday Night Football and 2 rookie quarterbacks were going to be playing, and I would struggle to know which one was the first overall pick and would think it was the Bears quarterback, that would have been a completely different thing. Non-drafted rookie played better than the first overall pick.
There's always next year.
Oh, man, I feel bad for Bryce Young. Like, Carolina.
Oh, that sucked too.
There are just some really terrible situations in the NFL right now, and
it's been a weird season.
It's just not good. Like, I guess you always need, it's kind of like, you know, when you go playing poker with your friends, you always invite like that one chump that just like goes all in on everything. So you can just take his money constantly. And that's what it feels like the Panthers are. Like, they're just like that chump that like people get free wins from in the NFL right now. It's just, it's really, really sad. I feel bad for Bryce Young.
They're not good at basketball. They're not good at football. What are you going to do?
Hey, exactly. Hey.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace, North Carolina. I'm sorry, Hunter.
Hey, man. Listen, Charlotte made the Charlotte FC made the playoffs, though, Jorge. So we're good on that. So,
okay.
Yeah, then we fired our coach. So that's fantastic. Trippin and I are so happy. Woohoo!
Oh man, Charlotte will figure it out. But
will they?
Yeah.
Will they play more Ben Bender?
Hey, I was trying to be nice, okay?
I can put Ben Bender memes up there. You know, little Futurama action. So,
guys, this has been incredible. We're at an hour or so. I mean, if anybody's listening, they're still here. Thank you so much. Hunter, thanks again. Is there anything you would like to promote? Anything you want to shout out real quick before we get out of here?
Yeah, dude. Thanks for having me. It's been awesome talking some Reignmakers. Love talking football. Everyone, make sure to check out the Sideline Talk podcast that we just had an episode come out today with Jacob of the Batting Practice Pod. And next week we have another high stakes so rare guy, Torin Miguel, making an appearance. He'll be off camera, but we will have a good little pod there. That was his request, but of course I accept that. Yeah, check that out. And follow me on Twitter at Hunter_himself.
Love it. Bob, anything you got to say to these wonderful folks before we get out of here?
I love football.